our this afternoon's top stories. Government to grant duty-free concessions in December. Barbados on track to end AIDS epidemic. And ISIS posts new threats online. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, November 17th, 2015. With the news, I am JD Keynes. We begin with news on the local scene. The largest media outlet in St. Kitts and Nevis, ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, has been providing live coverage via local television, Channel 5, radio 96.1 FM, and online at www.zizonline.com of today's sitting of National Assembly. Very early in the sitting, the country's Prime Minister updated the nation on several issues. Chief among them was the decision to grant duty-free concessions during the month of December.
1. Gift packages of foodstuff are allowed. The first £400 will be free of duties and taxes. For the month of December, the first £400 of foodstuff imported into the country by non-commercial importers, that is the ordinary Mary, Drain, and so on, non-business persons, will be free of duty and taxes. And secondly, non-commercial imports will receive a duty-free allowance of EC $540 or the equivalent value of US $200 of the CIF value.
Dr. Harris made it clear that his government is committed to improving the standard of living of the Federation's residents. He reminded of some of the initiatives that had been taken since his government took office in February this year.
We provided relief for 365 days from VAT and food and medicine and funeral expenses. We have corrected the injustice to former sugar workers, amount over 2,311 beneficiaries. Mr. Speaker, we have provided EC 13.5 million to the Fresh Start program for the small and medium-sized enterprises, Mr. Speaker. And how well received has that program been? Over 400 applications received in 1 month. We gave generously, Mr. Speaker, by way of zero VAT on the first 75,000 of a vehicle to be imported in the country on VAT day. And now we give a December special to non-commercial importers and travelers.
Today's sit-in is also hearing the reading of the Stamp Amendment Bill 2015, Insurance Amendment Bill 2015, the Criminal Procedures Amendment Bill 2015, the Evidence Amendment Bill 2015, the Administration of Small Estates Amendment Bill 2015, the Fisheries Bill 2015, and the St. Kitts Electricity Supply Amendment Bill 2015. The Pentecostal Church of God Incorporation Bill 2015 and the Tenure of Office of Prime Minister Bill 2015 are also listed to be read. During a recent tour of the Forensic Services Unit, FSU, the country's National Security Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, said his administration will provide relief to that department to ensure that officers are able to improve their standard of work. In response to concerns shared by Ansel Alexander, who heads that department, Dr. Harris committed government resources to improving the FSU.
Where these can be costed, if we can have them, we certainly would want to do these before year end. And we make that commitment having not even seen it, but because this government is absolutely committed to ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis return to the price place where it was very long time ago, but where it must remain.
He said while resources are limited within the government, the safety and security of citizens and visitors remain priority issues.
We will spare no effort. I repeat, the Team Unity Administration and I myself, as the Minister responsible for national security and for the time being the Minister of Finance, we will spare no efforts to ensure that all the resources that are required and we justifiably can provide, we do so, because the peace and security, we take that as a cardinal responsibility of the government.
In more local news, while Diabetes Awareness Week officially wrapped up last Saturday, the St. Kitts Diabetes Association hosted its annual general meeting and election on Sunday. The new executive body will again be led by President Nurse Christine Watley. Other members are Vice President Nurse Davida Irish, Secretary Earl Clark, Treasurer Merle Libert Brown, and Public Relations Officer Dr. Reginald O'Loughlin. The association's ex-officio members are Reverend Wilfred Daniel, Rosalind Grant, Jasmine Hanley Takakel, and Janelle Lewis Tafari. The AGM was held at the Old Girls School on Victoria Road.
Introducing the all-new ZIZ mobile app, the newest way to get the latest on what's happening locally, regionally, and internationally. Say goodbye to newspaper clutter and hello to updated classifieds on our radio market. Whether it's streaming your favorite local TV or radio show, or catching up on memorable moments in sports and entertainment, the ZIZ mobile app offers this and so much more. Always on the go? Get the ZIZ mobile app today. Visit the App Store on your smartphones and tablets to download the app free of cost. ZIZ Online, reaching you wherever you are.
Regionally, instructors at a one-week workshop at St. Lucia's Police Academy are concerned about the effect that the closure of the forensic lab could have on officers involved in crime scene management who participated in the course. DBS's Don Nicholas reports.
Course instructors say the workshop covered a number of areas taking into account data collection and processing at crime scenes. The job of the participants is to apply what they've learned. But there's one thing weighing on their minds, and that is the closure of the forensic lab, which to a large extent can hamper their work. However, being the professionals that they are, they remain committed to the job and vow to do their best under the circumstances.
The closure of the lab will more be a little worrisome for the crime scene officers who would want to see their work, the fruits of their labor, if you want to say, being handled. So it would more be of a little bit of a worry to them. But it's closure of the lab or not, I mean, and that in it is itself another issue as to the lab being closed. But we have to realize that if you want to say the show must go on, I mean, it's not a show, but so we have to keep the crime scene persons focused on crimes are happening every day. So whether the lab is open or not, they have to play their part.
Officials say the workshop lasted for 1 week. 10 officers participated in the workshop. Facilitators deliberately kept it down to a small number. They say it's more manageable and can allow for specialized attention to be given to the individual participants.
They don't want them to be too long because it's applied and you want to keep the interest. So two of the things that we do is not too long, 1 week is sufficient, and the numbers not too large so that we can have a lot of discussion and we can manage ourselves properly to ensure that all the participants benefit from the program. So it's really a small core. We don't do these programs 20 or 30 persons. 10 is a manageable number so that they can all benefit.
The workshop was held at the Police Academy. The participants graduated on Friday. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas.
Barbados is on track to end the AIDS epidemic as a public health threat by 2030, according to UNAIDS' Executive Director, Michael Sibidi. During a visit to Barbados earlier this month, Sibidi congratulated the country on the progress made in the national AIDS response. Barbados' Minister of Social Care, Constituency Empowerment and Community Development, Steve Blackett, reaffirmed the country's commitment to fast-tracking the virus and noted that in the new phase, Barbados is addressing the social determinants that support HIV transmission, including intergenerational poverty and transactional sex. Efforts to develop policies and legislation that protect people living with HIV and people who experience discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation are also ongoing. While in Barbados, Sibidi also met with people living with HIV, representatives of civil society, and the United Nations country team. Internationally, the intense search for Salah Abdeslam is centered around Molenbeek, a Brussels neighborhood linked to the suspected Paris terrorists and the alleged mastermind of the attacks. In Brussels, police detained a camera crew inside a French rental car like the one that took some of the attackers to Paris. Alain Pizzi reports.
A series of raids here by Belgian police turned out to be futile. The main suspect is still at large. Salah Abdeslam is described as dangerous, and Belgium has issued an international warrant for his arrest. He's believed to have rented a black Volkswagen Polo that was found near the Bataclan concert venue. One of his brothers blew himself up with a suicide vest in the Paris attacks. The third brother, Mohammed, said his family could not understand why they did it. We are indeed thinking of the victims, the families of the victims, he said, but you must also understand we have a mother, we have a family, and he is still her son. French investigators believe this man, Abdelhamid Aboud, masterminded the Paris attacks. He's been linked to a foiled terrorist plot in Belgium and an attempt to gun down passengers on a high-speed train to Paris that was foiled by 3 Americans. Aboud grew up here in Molenbeek, an impoverished Brussels suburb where the jihadist and criminal worlds meet. One-stop shopping, experts say, for drugs, explosives and automatic weapons. A terrorist dream, a security nightmare. Belgian Foreign Minister Didier Reynders called for better cooperation among European security agencies.
Intelligence is the only one way to block some possible terrorist activities before a terrorist attack.
U.S. intelligence officials say the mastermind behind the attacks is the chief ISIS operative for Europe. He's believed to be in Syria, where 4 of the plotters are also thought to have gone.
New video purportedly from ISIS says an attack on Washington, D.C. is imminent. While officials say there is no credible threat to the United States, major precautions are still being taken. Jeff Pegway has more.
The video purporting to be from ISIS promised an attack on Washington, but U.S. officials say there is no specific or credible threat against the United States. On Capitol Hill, police are telling congressional staff to take precautions like using the tunnels around the Capitol instead of walking above ground. Dismissed. And in New York, a new specialized police unit is providing extra security at key locations. SWAT teams and bomb-sniffing dogs are patrolling train stations, airports, and NFL stadiums around the country. But a response to a threat is only as good as the intelligence. And U.S. law enforcement believes one blind spot is when terrorists go dark, hiding their online communications. Investigators say members of ISIS lure potential sympathizers to social media apps and forums where the messages self-destruct or are encrypted. Law enforcement has been pressing the technology industry for access to that data when national security is at risk. But so far, privacy concerns have won out. CIA Director John Brennan.
I do hope that this is going to be a wake-up call, particularly in areas of Europe where I think there has been a misrepresentation of what the intelligence and security services are doing.
Brennan warns more attacks like Paris could be coming.
I would anticipate that this is not the only operation that ISIL has in the pipeline.
The tech industry says calls to weaken encrypted products undermine cybersecurity. Scott, a law enforcement source, is confident the attackers used encrypted communications, but it's unclear whether investigators have the attackers' cell phones and computers.
Taking a look at the weather, temperatures today will peak at 80 degrees Fahrenheit with a moderate breeze blowing from the east at 17 miles per hour. Skies will be partly sunny with a few passing showers. An approaching tropical wave will cause some cloudy spells with periods of widely scattered showers across portions of the Leeward Islands later this evening into tonight. Seas are moderate to locally rough with swells up to 7 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers are therefore asked to exercise caution. Sunset for today will be at 5:35 p.m. and sunrise for tomorrow will be at 6:17 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thanks for joining us. I'm JD Gaines. Have a great afternoon.